shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void, and it's Cosmic Conditions tonight. And are the stars lining up for us in 2025, or are we just making it up as we go? I'm Joe Roop, you know that, but I'll be your guide along with Mary through this cosmic chaos and keeping things grounded tonight. We've got the legendary Mary Ducina here with us to unpack it all, and I will be doing stuff in the background while we're doing this. Mary's here with us at maryducina.com, MaryDusina. It's Cosmic Conditions again. Go to that website, maryducina.com, get a reading. It's life-changing. That's what I've been hearing still, Mary. It's life-changing. That's what they keep saying. You're still doing it, man. You're still killing it.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, audience. Blessings to you on this very powerful, auspicious eve of our second eclipse of March 2025. And Joe, thank you. It's very important in 2025 to all of us. Joe and I have talked about this before, about paying it forward with kindness and random acts of kindness. This is that year. Couple of things. We need to be grateful, no matter how minor it seems. We need to be moving into the psychological embrace and the emotional dedication to what is good in our life, what is good in our life. And sometimes the good in our life, although we may not have manifested or created a third of all of what we feel our life purpose is or what our dream goal is, it's a process, it's a journey. 2025 is the journey of this. Write it down. Anything is possible. That's Aries.
Hell yeah.
Anything is possible. But there are cycles, much like our beautiful oceans, that when I lived on the beach for a while, in the beautiful Pisces state of Florida, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. The sun rises, the sun sets, the moon rises, and she has her phases. So on this eve, the theme of this eclipse, which is why I want you to write it down, because it's also an affirmation to manifest anything is possible. Now, when you do an Aries type of no frills, get to the point of an affirmation, and I'll tell you why it's highly auspicious with this particular eclipse. We'll have reference points for you. True astrologers have their background data of similar eclipses when the cycle started, so we can all, and that's what I like about being an astrologer versus, although I am a natural intuitive psychic clairvoyant guided by the Holy Ghost, but the astrology part of it kind of gives us a GPS map. And what I like the best about astrology is when you feel like it's overwhelming or you've got it all figured out or this sign only means this, and it's always an evolving process of learning more layers. What is really beneficial about the celestial mapping and taking on, enjoying, learning about you, Aries is about you, learning about you through your very unique, specific star chart map at the time of your Earth birth, is that when we affirm anything is possible, there's a responsibility that goes to each of us with that kind of affirmation. If I'm claiming and I'm inviting Great Spirit, Holy Ghost, the I am that I am, if I'm claiming and I'm in agreement spiritually with my soul essence, anything is possible. And I'm declaring that it's my responsibility to course correct my mode of thinking. If it's something like, why'd you let that happen to me, God? They always get that, and I don't. Why would you treat me like that? Why did they say that? Woe is me, woe is me. Even though we all have gone through times where we are a victim, and there has been woe and betrayal and shock and awe in astonishing ways. I don't believe, looking back on those things in my own, which I can speak with authority, in my own life, some of those kicks to the curb, your legs got knocked out from under you, accidents happened, betrayals occurred, you might have been the betrayer, then it was done to you by somebody else, we fell short of someone else's expectations, they demanded too much of us, all of those scenarios. When you say anything is possible, we have to start course correcting our motive, most of the time, thinking, self-talk, self-care, setting boundaries. Those are the cardinal sign strength. So where Aries is, the match is lit. Fire's lit. What are you going to do with it? Where do you want the match to go? What do you want to light? And what room are you carrying the candle into? Or the sage that you're burning, what are you wanting to clear? There's a responsibility when anything is possible that you realize that your own loops, your own habits, your own patterns, your way of where you go to automatic pilot to express your sexuality or your anger or your impatience, and the words that fly forth from, as it says in Job in the Bible, the most unruly organ of the body is the tongue. So Aries is the head. It gets ahead. It's the ram. It butts heads with people. It's headstrong. That's the creature in Mother Nature that is the ruler of the first sign of the Western Zodiac, Aries, the ram. Aries' slogan is, I am. So when you say I am, the next word that goes after that, we've mentioned that before in the tribe audience of Lighting the Void. Anything is possible is very much like that. I am. So the 0 point of Aries is literally 0 point energy. It's creation. And this eclipse, think about building your favorite submarine sandwich or your favorite, club sandwich. There's a lot of layers and a lot of ingredients to this. The most recent eclipse, which was strong, but not like this one, because we've got major life cycle changes of planets going into signs that travel much slower in 2025 going into 2026. Think back to April 8th of last year. And I'm going to take you back, if you live in America, I'm going to take you back to all the media attention that was focused on August 21st of 2017 when we had the great North American eclipse, and it had been 99 years since an eclipse had crossed the swath that it did with that 29-degree fire sign Leo eclipse in August of 2017. They started talking right then because it was so palatable, it was so powerful. I was very much out under it. Sweetwater, Tennessee was one of the strong points, strong portal vortices for that. And everybody immediately started talking about how long is it going to be for another one. April 8th of 2024 was the next part of the X marks the spot of when there would be another eclipse crossing over, kind of getting close to Texas, I think pretty much, if my memory serves me well, of last year, 2024. This eclipse X marks the spot when the eclipses started bouncing in the two signs of Aries Libra, which commenced in 2023. This is one little piece of astrological knowledge that'll help you unwrap it all. The nodal signs, the eclipse cycles, run about an 18-and-a-half-month, 19-month cycle for each series of those eclipses. Like they're going to bounce in our life. They're going to light up two very specific parts of our personal charts for about a year and a half, just shy of 2 years. So in 2023, we started the Aries Libra concert. And Aries is about my own identity, what I feel my purpose is, what I want, where's my passion guiding me, where are my desires taking me. So that got amped up in 2023. We all started that type of spotlight into our personal lives. And Aries and Libra-born people were in the spotlight whether they liked it or not from 2023 into this final Aries eclipse right here. And we won't have that North Node, South Node bounce again for about 9 years. The nodes, this eclipse right here, finishes off that Aries cycle. So first I want to say, pat yourself on the back. This is a graduation. This is a spiritual life lessons 101 graduation point from all the challenges, the letting go, the understanding our ego more and how much does our ego and our need to control things get in front of the true spiritual engine that we all are. And so this is a graduation of look back on how you feel that you have overcome things, that whether you fully understand the dynamics of the drama or the reason that someone went sideways and spiraled in the most craziest kind of ways, or maybe it was even you, the things that got out of control, the things that got out of hand, the things that seemed to have some kind of a stronghold on us, like a stronghold even in our mind, we just couldn't forget about it. We just couldn't stop thinking about it. We just couldn't let it go. This is a graduation point for that, because ego is an expression of our different chapters of personality, but the soul is birthless, deathless, limitless. And so now, in January, the nodes shifted into Virgo Pisces. So we're sandwiched between two eclipses. The easier way to say that, if I interpret it, is we both now have endings and beginnings. Aries is the beginning. Aries is the raw passion. And this Saturday's partial solar eclipse, however, it's also a supermoon, which means the moon's closest to Earth, so it amplifies the strength of it. It's not just a new moon, it's an eclipse. And it's not just an eclipse, it's a supermoon. So it is the most intense life correction, seed planting, determined modality time that's been afforded to us since 1987, March 29th of 1987. So it's truly time for you, instead of to belabor the point, the labor before the birth, instead of laboring again and again, walking around, thinking it in your head, talking it to yourself about the things that have been out of whack, out of line, disappointing, shocking, instead of carrying that into your present or your future, the Pisces planets that are lined up right now, Mercury ruling this eclipse. Mercury is Mercury and Mars. Mercury is retrograde in Pisces and goes to 0 point. Went from 0 point Aries by tomorrow morning into that last critical Antarctic degree of 29 Pisces. So Mercury is the mind, how we think, the process of how we analyze, how we're able to let it go, even though it didn't go our way, and even if someone didn't follow through on what they committed or promised that they would do. Oh, I'll be there. Oh, it'll happen. No, there's no strings attached. So there's a lot that we're divorcing and burying with the Mercury retrograde and these Pisces planets. Mars is the ruler of the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. Mars is out of bounds right now in the very emotional, I'm concerned.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Mary.
How do I want my home to be? A lot of people are working on homes. They're doing projects in homes. I'm here.
I got you. We got you back.
I'm here. Okay. So Mars rules this eclipse because Mars rules the sign of Aries. And so Mars is instigating and granting us, remember the match got lit, is suggesting to us that you don't have to just be so impatient or frustrated or in a hurry where the anger becomes self-destructive rather than externally productive. So as of this Saturday, this solar eclipse is supposed to and is shaking things up, especially our ideas of love, no matter how much intimate sexual play, adult play that you're into, if that's your genre, that's the biological crossroads that you're into right now and enjoying that. Aries is also about raw passion, and there's pluses and minuses to every sign. So sometimes Aries just wants to take control of a situation, especially if they feel like they're not being recognized or heard. And every zodiac sign has the potential to be a violent personality or someone that takes unfairly. So let's not pin anything on one particular sign. But there are two signs. There are two signs, especially Aries and Leo, as far as quick fire anger that you probably all the fire signs. It's just not nice to deliberately want to poke a fire sign of Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. However, they also have to watch that they don't get caught up in being self-obsessed or just looking at things their way. They're really good at guiding other people, but the fire signs sometimes have a hard time getting their own selves out of that psychological or mental rut style of thinking. So this eclipse is shaking things up. Mercury joins Venus Venus softens the ability for us to be able to receive the divine messages without a crisis, chaos, or a drama storm. So Venus and Mercury are kind of side by side retrograding back into Pisces and quickly having a conversation and meeting up with idealistic Neptune, which rules Pisces. So the day after the eclipse, in my time zone, like knocking at the door of 7 a.m. on Eastern Daylight Time, Neptune will move to the 0 point of Aries. Now, when you just talk about timeline cycles, the last time Neptune was in Aries was 1861. Why does that matter? It was the time of civil war. It's when people will literally take to the streets to be seen and be heard. A lot of that's going on kind of globally around the world and certainly in this country. So it's like, see me, feel me, hear me, I will not be ignored, can be the bold boss bitch, sometimes a Karen, side of Aries. And yes, every zodiac sign could be a Karen, more so than others. So it can be a sweet storybook that overrides the normal human creature animalistic passions. So things are moving at a higher vibration, like, wow, I never knew in my life that I would meet you. Wow, with all the vulnerability that I've felt like I needed to shield, now this happens in my life, and I'm almost afraid to admit, or I will admit, that when something really good finally happened in my life, is it myself that's going, is this too good to be true? Oh yeah, there's that affirmation again. Anything is possible. So the Aries eclipse is wanting us to take ownership, not to blame ourselves or criticize ourselves, but it's wanting us to take a clearer look without censorship in why we choose to react the way we do to the external actions or information that's around us. This eclipse is calling on us to come back more into our humanness, our face-to-face, word-to-word, side-by-side, doing things together as a joint work or play type of scenario. So then on Sunday, this weekend, March 31st, when Neptune, March 30th, 31st, when Neptune moves into Aries temporarily until October, it's changing signs into Aries. So it was in Pisces, its home sign back in it changed into Pisces like 2011, 2012. That was the last time for our generation that Neptune actually changed into a different sign. But it's not been in Aries since the Civil War, because Neptune bounces about 12 to 13 years in just one zodiac sign. And by comparison, the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. Really fast. That's why the moon rules our emotions and our moods, and that's why sometimes we get really tired for 2.5 or 3 days, then we're motivated, and then we're critical, and then we're wanting to go out and spend money and be jovial. It's the moon. And if you want to learn a lot about your sign, get any kind of drugstore or business calendar that shows the little farmer's almanac, the moon's in this sign for these 2.5 days, and kind of look at what happens on those days when it's in your sign and your opposite sign. It's kind of a fun little easy project to do with astrology. So we had the equinox, which begins the zodiacal new year. We had the equinox on March 20th. Sun leaves the last sign of the zodiac of Pisces and enters the new spring garden in the northern hemisphere, sign of Aries. It's a turning point, equinox, equal day-night. So we have Aries starting up, but still strong planets in the sign of Pisces. But the sun, the great star of our galaxy, went into Aries saying, it's showtime. Anything is possible. And then we have this energy that's coming up with the second eclipse. There are dual eclipses in March of 2025, and they occur again in September of this year. So the first eclipse we had around the Ides of March, that was a lunar eclipse in Virgo. That full moon was strong because the nodes shifted to Pisces Virgo around January 11th and 12th of this new year. So here comes the first eclipse in one of those signs of Virgo Pisces, and it just happens to be Virgo. Big reference point. Haven't had that. Haven't had this particular combination for 19 years. So Virgo says, How's your work ethic? Are you working enough? Are you playing too much? Are you feeling like all the work and time and effort that you've been doing over the last 6 months is wanting to call you to a different venue, a different path, a different style of feeling like that your time is worth it and you're getting the money that you deserve type of thing? Virgo's like, clean it up work-wise. If you're not happy, bust a move. So the Virgo eclipse in mid-March, that runs into the one in September of 2025. So Virgo's saying to us, and I can't tell you how many friends and clients just since late February have talked to me about, I finally got the procedure done I wanted to do. I finally got the surgery to correct that long-standing problem. I finally cut back on whatever, sleeping pills, whatever. And I'm seeing people, feeling like they see light at the end of the tunnel from the hernia that they had for 5 years. They just couldn't really pay out of pocket to get it fixed, and the guy got it taken care of fine, like, hoorah. But I'm also hearing a lot of people acutely aware of the things that seem to pester them or haunt them when they're alone with themselves. So a Virgo lunar eclipse means the moon was in Virgo and the sun was in Pisces, and that's soul surgery. So your angels, your heavenly guides, your beautiful relatives, those grandparents or an aunt or an uncle or a sibling that loved you and made a great impact in a positive way in your life, maybe even a disciplined way, that are in spirit, that activated that conversation, that meditation, that dream lodge moment. So our elders, our ancestors, our spiritual tribe got activated by the full moon in the Ides of March, right before St. Patrick's Day. So it was a very strong energy that was saying, I'm going to give you the actual method. You're going to meet the people. You're going to read the book. You're going to find an actual project or ceremony or meditation that you need to, Virgo, discipline yourself to and commit to, because big changes are finally here. You've been bitching, but whatever you've been trying to do or implement didn't work yet, so you're still bitching. So here comes supernatural help. Here comes supernatural glory, grace, and impact. That torch was lit by the Almighty I Am at that lunar eclipse, the Madonna, Virgo, how we'll harvest this year's garden. So it's seed planting time whenever you have a new moon. Aries adds impact to that. It's the first sign of the Western zodiac, so it's go time. Anything is possible. And then we have Neptune going into Aries. Once the retrogrades end with Mercury and Venus, they're going to be popping out of Pisces back into Aries. And then a little bit later on, we're going to see Saturn shift. So find the Aries house planets in your personal horoscope. Get your chart done with me or whoever it is that you're drawn to energetically. Learn your chart. And for 2025, you would just, as a student, be monitoring where Aries is in your chart. And then when the full moon occurs in Libra, that's Aries balance sign. So the Aries Libra energies are, am I comfortable? Am I being authentic? What do I think about my personal image? What would I like to change? Do I want a different hairstyle? Do I want to gain weight, lose weight? Do I need to get up off my butt? Am I doing too much social media? So it's about how can I feel motivated about the self that I'm presenting out there, my character, what I want people to feel radiating from me. That's the responsibility of Aries. So the Aries energy is saying, get out of your loop. Don't be the hamster running on the same wheel all the time. Only you. You can read the book. You can have the spiritual master. You can do out-of-body work. You can get your chart done. But you have got to do your personal work. You've got to get things clear that have been pestering you for too long. And so if you focus inward, this eclipse with these power players in the most powerful degrees of Pisces right now getting along with Mars in Cancer, those Pisces planets getting along by Uranus in Taurus, it's giving us structure. It's allowing us to hear the words of our soul teachers, both your inner conversations, heart to heart, soul eye to soul eye, inviting the broader perspective and the dream manifesting. So we're not to give up on our dreams. We just need to realize that most of the time it's our own attitude, our own rejections, our own pulling back, our own pushing our way, our own need to control it, moderate it every step of the way, like as some kind of human, we got it all figured out, and there's all these mysteries around us. Pisces is saying there's a lot of supernatural frequency help here for you. You know, you've carried the cross of that health problem long enough. We're going to give you some new options and avenues and information. Just feel that in your soul. Just kind of put your hand over your heart and do some kinesiology, do some muscle testing and see, is this right for me? So Aries is saying, take a chance. Fated scenarios are here to shift us out of the curtain that needs to be pulled back or close the door, because we're leaving that aspect of how we've been and how we have been less than of the best, better version of ourselves. Anything's possible. So one of the solar eclipse kind of work projects I do or rituals I do is just get yourself a piece of paper on the left side, because mystically left represents that which is past, familiar, or passing, a reference point. On the left side of that paper, put the things that you're ready to just be free of or to release. You wish they weren't repeating in the same way. Lordy, I'd like to just get free of that same romantic pattern or the feeling that I get when it comes to the whole monetary or the work that I do, for all that. Anything that's bothering you, don't censor it. Just raw and real. That's Aries. Put it down on the paper. I want to be free of this type of canopy or weight. I want to be done with that. You know, I want to be done with that. I want things to be different for me in that way. This part isn't about, and what are you going to do about it? This is about, write it down as if you could just put it on the altar of all that is holy, and because it's holy and supernatural, you choose to give it up. It's taken from you, that kind of a thing. Because it's also a time of resplendent miracles. Anything is possible. This is a portal. This is ultra-dimensional. This is everything heavenly walking beside us in the earthly. That's how rarefied this eclipse moment is. And so what it's saying to us is, on that left side of that column, just as an example of a type of scenario you can do with yourself or little work projects. It's simple, it's free. Will you show up and do it? Write all the things down on the left. It's private. It's just for you, between you and your God, between you and Sacred Source. I want to release, I want these things out of my life. I want to release these things. Anything is possible. On the right side of that same pad of paper, and you can date it Eclipse Aries 2025, you can put the things that you're ready to believe in, to embrace, and to allow. And no matter how they've been tested or taken from you in the past, this is right now. Aries is right now. Be present. Don't be hung up with the past, and don't be anxious about the future, because all you've really got is this now moment, being fully present, witnessing what's being said, the tonal quality of it, the show, how you're sitting there and you're hearing this either live or on repeat, and you feel a movement. Parts of some of these suggestions will move you either away or into. And Aries is like, will you trust the force? Will you trust with this sandwich of eclipses? We've got what we were mentioning, but the two main impact signs right now are the planets still dreaming in Pisces, waiting to activate your dreams, it's a high psychic time. It's a very intuitive time. It's an incredible time to receive a miraculous healing emotionally, psychologically, mentally, financially, personally, health-wise. This is a time to say, yes, beloved Spirit, I allow the recalibration in God's own perfect ways of my physical temple. Thank you for my body. Thank you for my strength and my wellness. Same thing with your thought patterns, your psychological call for your psychological strength and your ability to discern, your ability to commit and to discern what is a valuable life energy currency for me at this time, realizing that everything in life is set up to be a win-win. Second thing about this eclipse is start to unplug, rebuke, and remove yourself from any kind of social media, television, streaming, movies, anything that is seeking to keep you in that fear chaos, that fear paralysis of the sky is falling, oh, it's Israel and this, and oh, it's Yemen. It's not that those things aren't happening. There's wild things happening in the world. Any astrologer knew it was going to start to happen when we had Pluto go into Aquarius. We've not had that happen in 248 years. So there's going to be a lot of anomalies over our head. There's geomagnetical changes that are going right now. We entered a solar maximum cycle. The sun is exalted in Aries. And so, yeah, we have solar minimums and solar maximums each and every 11-year cycles. We've entered a solar maximum. The sun, our star, is beginning to give maximum radiations of light, light codes, light language, lighten up, enlightenment. And so we have that. And then we have the energy of bold beginnings of the frequencies of what we needed to look at what's still very beneficial for me and how I present myself and gift my talents and my presence in this life walk, both for myself and other people. Is that a win-win right now? How I'm treating myself and how I'm showing up for my significant others. So Aries is here to say, you know the truth. I know the truth. Anything is possible. It's time to pick a different option or a different side of the fence. You still have to come through shining and radiant as the unique star that you are, the unique component of energies that you are. Aries is about celebrating your uniqueness and not allowing what society says is success and what society says is prosperity and what society says is a trending or gone viral, or there's a double entendre with that when you talk about virus or viral. And what's like, who's getting all the clicks and likes? This is a time for you to really be incredibly honest about, do I like myself? And if not, why not? Let me process that, Pisces. Okay, where does that come from? Why am I getting triggered about that? And then the gentle hug, embrace that you give to your own emotions and your own intentions and say, you know what, I got to have a little conversation with you, heart and soul and brain. You got to know that you're worth it. You got to know that you are uniquely powerful and incarnated here at this time for all of it, all of it. But you've been gifted free will. Step back quicker from those or that is draining you. Make all the excuses you want to, emotionally, romantically, financially, psychologically. You can make all the excuses you want to, but you got to get down to raw and real. That's Aries. They're either good energy for you overall, or they're draining you and you're feeling less than or taken advantage of, or you're doing that to them. Because one of the minus sides of Aries energy is being the bully. I said, think about the cartoon. You can look it up, those of you that are really young, Foghorn Leghorn, the big old rooster. There's the rooster is one of the energies, even in the I Ching. The first hexagram in the Chinese Oriental divination of tossing the golden coins and seeing if they're positive or negative, broken lines or straight lines, the very first hexagram is Yang, the dragon, the masculine, the electrical vibrations that operate in the soul level beyond whatever physical body temple that you have and how you want to define it. So I find it interesting that we're hearing a lot in the first part of 2025 about space X. We talked about the eclipses that formed the X that would bloom out over a 19-year period from the point of 2017 and then impacted in the eclipse in Aries April 8th of last year, 2024. And we hear about Dragon, the Dragon rocket, bringing the astronauts back from space on Dragon. And I was like, wow, look at the synchronicities. When I looked at the symbol for the first hexagram in the I Ching, the ancient art of the Oriental divination with tossing of the coins, positives and negatives, was the dragon. And it was full yang energy. And I'm like, wow. And a dragon in all the movies and artwork is a flying creature that blows fire from its mouth, flies up in the air, has wings, and it can smack you with its tail as well. But the head of the dragon, which is what the North Node is, the head of the dragon can blow fire. And it can fly. It can move around pretty quick, pretty stealth on land or sky. So the Aries energy right now is saying, besides you stressing out over, am I fulfilling my life purpose? Am I measuring up to my parents? Am I doing what society says? Good boy, good girl. How do I feel emotionally about my life, no matter what I have in abundance or what seems to be missing? And I find that that's a financial lack there, or it's not manifested over here for me yet, or an emotional or relationship lack, whatever that is, whether the tide's in or out. It's time for you, because anything's possible. It's time for you to decide, are you in or are you out? And so when we move forward with Mercury turning direct on April 7th and the full moon in Libra coming in as Venus goes direct over April 11th and 12th, as we get into mid-April, Libra, ruled by Venus popping back into Aries, they're having a conversation with the polarity of Aries and Libra too. It's okay to be as dedicated and as passionate and as true to yourself as you can be. And Venus is like, I promise you, your match is already manifested, but anything's possible. When's the last time you called it to you? When's the last time you said, I'll show up really honorable for you as you arrive, my significant other? If that's the avenue of what you feel like is something that you'd like to manifest, because anything's possible. With the Aries energy, this is the match that lights. This is the candle is lit. It's go time. It's go time with Aries. And next Friday, so this is Friday, like what is it, March 27th? Next Friday, there's a very unique and rare, powerful kind of dynamic that's happening next Friday as we go a week from tonight. We're going to have this energy that bounces with one of the most potent clusters of astrological relationships called an aspect so far in this new year of 2025, because Saturn, Uranus, and Mars are all going to be radiating and sending harmonious energies and vibes to one another. So I would say the second phase of Anything is Possible comes next Friday, where the term will be dare to take the road less traveled, and you will forge a solid path toward your destiny. So it's an adventure kind of energy that's building a momentum from this eclipse seed being planted. One of the most interesting things we'll see about, I watered it, I took care of it, I went out and I talked it, whatever you're planting or growing or allowing to take root in your life garden. Before we start our spring gardens in the Northern Hemisphere, there's often a weed in feed. There's often nutrients that are added to the womb of Mother Earth, her dirt, her womb, her dark moistness, that you can plant the food that will literally come back to reward you and feed you with tomatoes and salads and strawberries and things, and how they do their cycles and the great turning of the wheel. That's what magazines and businesses like Farmers' Almanacs, calendars, and the yearly Farmer's Almanac that comes out, they do gardening things, they do celestial things. Like the indigenous cultures, they don't separate those. There's different things that are a dynamic of energy, the full moon versus a new moon. So this eclipse in Aries and Neptune, right after this eclipse on Saturday morning in this time zone, moves into Aries. This is about, I'm done being at a civil war with myself. I am going to stand up and represent kindness. I'm going to set appropriate boundaries and stop allowing myself to participate in activities or spend time with certain things, groups, people that literally aren't a match. I feel like it's draining me, and I need to take responsibility for that. Or I'm trying to control and direct things all the time, and I need to take responsibility for that. Aries is a positive course correction. It's a positive crossroads in our life, but it does require action. There's nothing about Aries that isn't into taking action on it. It's the need for speed, in a sense of like, that's a great idea, that's creative genius, and I just need to, it's starting the car and shifting the gear and hitting the gas pedal. Yeah, that's Aries. So it isn't just, oh, wow, I'm really relaxed, having some potato chips and some, sparkling water, and all of a sudden this idea comes in, and it's like, whoa, that's good. I need to do something about it. So where a Virgo would start to get different layers and look at the financials and all that, the Aries is just like, this is good, this is hot, this is an invention that needs to be respected. So it's going to light the fire of the fairy tale coming through, the dream manifest into reality. You're literally a dream weaver right now. So all I'm saying is the Aries piece of it with that Virgo lunar eclipse is saying you got to be really proactive. You've got to make your decisions, pause, breathe, make them wisely, because you're really going to be making a commitment for at least the next year and a half, because our next eclipse cycle runs about a year and a half. So our first one hit at mid-March, the accelerant to the Virgo Pisces energy of how we are being gifted with supernatural love and prosperity and authority, deciding what is a healthy, holistic authority for me, with how I eat and how I think, and what I feel like really motivates me, and my heart just rises because the energy the light comes. The light comes when I'm with this and in this. That's what's coming with the Virgo Pisces energy. Physician, heal thyself. Go, I make you fishers of men. Can manifest all you want to manifest. Are you serving the side of light, or are you being held captive by the darkness? Got to make the choice. Either way you make it, it's your choice. But when we get to that full moon in Libra, we're once again going to be shown, full moons bring culmination and intensity. We're going to be shown where we've got fair and balanced and win-win type of scenarios going on in our life and situations and issues, and where something's like, why are you avoiding this? Libra can avoid like Pisces. Why are you avoiding this? You don't have to confront everything in your life, and everything that we need to confront in our life has a different type of processing and being able to release it and let go of the dream that we thought would happen with that or them. So the Pisces part of it is the labor, the cycle of labor that we've been going through for the last year and a half. This is the birth. 0 degrees of Aries is the 0 point of anything is possible. Miracles are manifesting. This is that time. Are you still committed? Are you still being haunted and taunted with the doubts from the past? Aries isn't real interested in your past. If it wants to use it as a personality enhancing or black sheep of the family, generational curse breaker, Aries is okay with that. Like, yeah, I'll smash the mold. Yeah, I'm not doing it the way they said that you should do it, because it didn't work out so well for them and I had a chaotic childhood. So yeah, no, not doing it. Not repeating that. That's a reference point. Saw how that was. Too much of a circus for me. I'm going to do it different. That's a risk to do it different, because you divorce the familiar, which can enchant us and beguile us and bewitch us. No, my daddy did it like this, and my mommy did it like this, and there's something wrong with you if you don't want to do it the same way now. Grow up in the South. You'll feel it. I love growing up in the South. I love the Appalachian Southern wisdoms that they have, but it can be very stern and very sharp, and you can have the church pinch with certain type of family customs. So this is about you saying, yeah, I'm honoring my elders, but now I'm an adult, and I'm setting the tone and the example for what I'm showing this world as I walk this world. I'm going to take the best of Grandpa and the best of Grandma, the best of Grandma and the best of my dad and the best of my mom, and I'm going to put those capsules in me. I should do pretty good if I can have the strength and the conviction to be the me that my mama strengthened, and the me that was the good side of my dad that saved me and always rescued me, and the me that broke up with the criticalness all the time of that parent that always had to criticize somebody, and the me that doesn't mind being softer and doesn't mind being more loving and doesn't mind being able to demonstrate those random acts of kindness out in the world, in my community, how I move and have my being in this world. That's the higher side of Aries. That's the higher side of Aries. So it's a very powerful time for you to look at that you have lots of options and layers on your soul submarine, on your spiritual sandwich. It's okay that since you have layers, it's like you got a choice of different blankets or jackets. You got a choice. So Aries is saying, but when you slip this on, make sure that whatever you're slipping on that involves anything or anybody else, that it's still the real, radical, true to thyself me. that goes forward with that. And I can be corrected, and you can be corrected, and we can have discussions, and we can hear each other in a very different kind of way when we listen deeper instead of listening to answer or listening to criticize. Remember, the minus side of Virgo is when they feel like that they've got to improve the person that they're hanging with or criticize them, and they can slip into that criticism of, your life would be different if you just do this and this and this, because I've proven that, because I've made a success in that in my life. Oh, okay. Duly noted. And you can take it as Spirit wanted you to hear that concept today. Now go figure out how you're going to work with that concept instead of it just being a criticism. That's the dance. It's the dance of, I think some people are beginning to kind of refer to these kind of modalities of behavior and choice of our attention span, what we're paying attention to and investing in energetically, as our intuitive intelligence. Some people, kind of clump it all in a category going, we're moving into 5D. But I feel that this year, 2025, is absolutely, if we will so choose it and hold hands with it, that this really is going to be some amazing, astonishing visions and downloads and course corrections and cleansing and miraculously clearing all of your chakras and your kundalini fire rising and all of it. I really do. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I really feel that our angelic guides, way showers, lifeguards, shields and swords assisting us with our intuitive sincerity are like stronger, more viable, more available than I've felt forever maybe, or for a long time, certainly back into my childhood. This is a supernaturally dynamic time. So expect to see extremes, and have compassion for those people that are going through those life storms. A lot of times when we settle into a complacency, or it's still locked up in our subconscious, or we're repeating patterns, but we haven't seen that, we don't know that yet, we've just kind of fallen into place, and we're kind of in lockstep and in that Stepford wife, Stockholm syndrome kind of a thing because of the chaos of the abuse. So when Spirit knows that we came here for purpose and that we need to get on with that ability to liberate and free ourselves from the things that weighed us down, sometimes that life loss or that life storm propelled you into what needed to occur, how your life could be enhanced, and we weren't able to see it at that time because that's all we had and that's what we were working with. And we kind of get into routines. That's another side of Virgo. And I'll give you an example. Last night was 6 months for the areas that were most ravaged by that superstorm, Hurricane Helene. Like the mud and the silt in Kentucky and western North Carolina, in those backwoods, not just Asheville, the city, but all around those outlying areas and parts of Tennessee, and bridges washing out and everything. The fury and the force of water, and how they didn't respond, and then the Amish started going up there and building homes, and the president visited, and all kinds of things started to happen. But initially when that happened, I'm in this area, so I know. Boots on the ground. Yeah, I went. So I saw, and I know. I can be a voice of truth on that. A lot of them were abandoned. There wasn't the help. There were resources limited, but neighbor and neighbor tribe started to jump in right away and take care of each other in that community. That's Mountain Strong. And then it started to improve, but they were ravaged by those floods. And that very area right now is undergoing these very anomalous but ever so frequent wildfires that are going on around this country. And again, the people that I know over there, same area, close to Swanoa County and over in there, and the bridges, the road that just been put back together. Now there's wildfires, and all these volunteer firefighters, Aries Fire, are going over there and fighting with fire. When we fight with fire with our passions, our thoughts, our desires, where we self-condemn, that can be an all-consuming fire. But it's also no accident that there are candles lit in churches, candles lit in ceremonies, under the starlight, under the moon, fire Where's the fire? Where is it the campfire? Where is it the sweat lodge? Where are the coals lit? Where is the fire that warms us? So each one of the elements of, right now, Pisces, water, the oceans, anomalies to do with the seas, transatlantic, anything, piracy, abductions, drownings, riptide currents, a lot of stuff that normally people don't focus on water, except maybe transitional seasonal storms of coming out of winter into spring, and then they start thinking about that with hurricane season. So this year is going to be memorable with the elements of warmth and fire and water. So decide now under this eclipse in your affirmations and your intentions. I now pray and bless all of those in the past that need to have the blessing and the harmony of water. I now bless all those that are in the path of extreme winter storms and ice and cold, the warmth, power and warmth and heat. And I wish for all those that are being suddenly evacuated and raged fire all around them, I wish for them that they're out of the hot zone, that the fire that is fueled by the wild winds, Mercury, the wind-driven fires, where before it was the wind force of the hurricane winds and those storms that were wind-driven water. So I ask that the fury, Aries, and the radical labor before the birth, where the umbilical cord is cut on a human's birth, on an animal's birth, and there's some type of placenta, or there's some type of body fluids that release with all of it. The water breaks, and then there's the new life that's coming in, and their whole survival mode. We've literally at that cross, we're right there. Any of the symbols that you choose to use, the beautiful Aries colors of red on the fire engines, they've since been different colors. They were often traditionally red. The red chakra, the root chakra, new life, breathing, our passion, our desires, course correcting those thoughts that when we're with ourselves that go into this agitated type of pattern sometimes, or this OCD, or inability to pay attention. Aries is saying you're investing your life currency, you're investing your time. Where, why, and how are you investing in spending your life currency in that venue, on that project, with those people? And is it a debit or a credit? Do you feel it still is viably valuable? And if so, continue to participate. But if you're doing it and you're at war with yourself, you're in a civil war with your, I shouldn't be doing that. If you're, and only you know the truth already, then shift your perceptive, even if we might be in the same 3D material world, consequences or experiences, shift your perspective to where you have a bit more peace by saying to yourself, this too shall pass, anything's possible. And I see it all differently now. Aries is the sight. It's the five senses. It's how we're seeing it, how we're looking at it. Can we look at it differently? Can we gain a new way of seeing things in that sacred perception? Can the way others saw it and got through it, can we see the wisdom in that? Aries has to do with the sense, the sense of, doesn't smell right to me here. I don't sense, they've got that kind of primal sense. And then there's the hearing. What are you listening to? What are you choosing to listen to? Aries is saying, just look at your main five senses and have like an intuitive telepathic conversation with your higher self to yourself about, have I not been listening? Have I been a little too contentious myself? How is it, what words have I been throwing out there for other people to hear versus what I'm hearing back? So Aries helps us get unlocked. It's the promise of, when you arrived on the planet, there was a whole lot of things you had to learn how to do to function, so this is birth. This is birth. And as we come into April, and happy early birthday wishes to Joe, as we come into the beginning of April, this year accelerates from April into July. Expect to get really busy with whatever you're choosing to invest your time and your attention, your passions, your desire, and your money into. Make sure you understand your investment. and make sure you're committed to that soul investment, that partnership investment, that creativity investment. And also, I have to say this before Joe wants to take a break, or we take a break and take calls, however you want to do it, or do more signs. But it's more of an energy of this energy as the background for all signs. But also a part of this process of new birth, another layer of processing things is by grieving them. Grief can be a different kind of a mechanical heart-set mindset that allows us to visit and revisit the good, bad, and ugly and help us to realize the worth of someone or something, the grief of losing a person, or they're gone too soon, and an unrequited death type of a thing, or a crime scene issue, or a broken promise and grieving a relationship. You started out this way and ended up in divorce, or it never led to commitment. Those sudden disappearances, or one day it's there and the next day it's gone, those are psychologically and spiritually productive cycles if you can shift your perception. I mean, I'm really sorry that it happens to myself or anyone, but by God, it grabs our attention. Like there's no way out except paying attention to that thing that just happened. So if we shift our perception, because anything's possible, that we could start to focus more on, I can have some really surprising, shocking, good developments and good news, instead of something that disappeared and I was being taught by how hard that loss was and how intense that breakup, that disappearance was, to feel creativity to come in and embrace me, and to be able to say, okay, Spirit, I'm going to make a commitment. I'm going to involve my vulnerability, and I'm going to be very authentic about this. I really want the chance to learn my soul life lessons through harmony and prosperity and laughter and love and kindness and humor, and having a light-filled, motivated presence when I'm among others, and also to myself, to be able to live in harmony and have the same type of things that are going on, but my perception has shifted to, I get it. It's all a part of my life school, and I don't need to just learn the extreme lessons through pain or loss. So grieving is also a powerful teacher. Pain is a powerful teacher. And so Aries is saying to us, you've had the pain. You know how you had to kind of get through that and crawl on your knees to get through that one because it hurt. You got to grieve, got to process it. It might shut you down, might make you bitter for a while, but there comes the point where you say, how long am I going to let this embitter me? How long am I going to be bitter about this? I can change one letter. I can allow it to make me better instead of bitter. I can become in victory over this instead of just being stuck in victimhood, because we make those loops. And Aries is simply asking without judging, have you looked at the loops lately? Are you okay with starting forth right now at this eclipse point, because beginnings matter? Just checking in. Are you still okay with applying yourself only this way and in that manner, and really you don't think you've really got anything to grow or expand on or lose? So if it's going well for you, if you're not hearing the voice in your head going, how's that working out for you? You want to continue to do it that way? Or as my father always said, how long do you always need to learn it the hard way? So when I got myself out of that loop going, oh my God, that's just not me making fun of Dad always saying that about me and I was hard-headed. I really was doing it the hard way before I would learn it or let it go. Own it. But when I saw the loop, liberation happened. It's like, I don't have to just be that way and do it that way all the time. And it took nothing from me that drained me to work on that aspect of my character and my personality. It was a win-win. So anything's possible, and we've got these Pisces energies saying, if you've been a little detached or not in touch with or have not made time with that embraces your spirit, it's music, it's dance, it's God, it's nature, walks in nature, a bubble bath, whatever it is that you know. For me, it's much more direct into the spirit world. But if you could just grant that a little bit of an audience, a little bit of a time, enough to say, listen, I just want to recalibrate here. I do invite you, Almighty I Am. I do allow control to go to you, Great Spirit, Holy Spirit. I do allow my aura to be cleansed and cleared of any uninvited influences or energies, any nefarious agendas on earth as it is in heaven. I now allow the clear light. I now allow the spotlight of all that is holy, healthy, and in harmony to be in charge. Thank you for that energetic alignment and bath. That's Aries. That's Aries.
I feel humbled by your Aries reading, Mary. I love the springtime, though. I've been in such good energy here lately. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, coming out of the winter and then the uprushing of spring always gets me going. A big shout out to Craig for subbing to the channel, by the way. Thanks, brother. Good to see you too, man.
And it isn't just that you have a springtime birthday. It is this year. Spring is really talking to us. It's really a big deal. Instead of buying another animal oracle deck, it's a big deal that certain animals or birds or a whole group of people wait on the hummingbirds every year. It's like that's part of their totem. Everything this spring is wanting to talk to us for our benefit about us. So although spring is a very powerful season, it's about the initiation of things. This year, it's really going to be talking to us in very supernatural ways. Animal totem messengers, people coming into your life for the first time, Aries, beginnings. Aries is the sunrise. It's the sunrise. And Aries is the turning of equal day night. So in the southern hemisphere, what we call spring equinox is their opening door of autumn over there. But either way, the trees are vibrant. They're coming forth in spring with flowers and the greening and all the blossoms that'll become whatever, a fruit, a nut, a flower, whatever it is. And in autumn, they're on fire with the golds and the reds and the oranges and the bronzes. So the trees are speaking to us literally, artistically, with color vibrations and energy vibrations. I'm looking at you. These are the colors right now. They're healing for you. Hi. Are you in the greens and the pinks and the whites? Yes, spring, red. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How you doing? What's your herbs? So it's like we're in a walking oracle right now. This eclipse is saying, and I promise you, this eclipse, Neptune going into Aries, Mercury and Venus spinning around direct, all in the month of April, into March, April, is saying to you, I got you. Do you see me? Do you hear me? I'm right there for you. I've been with you always, and I've kind of opened up another portal, like a vortex has opened up for us to be able to communicate. Your telepathic prowess is going to be astounding this March into the end of April. I mean, grab a notepad and start journaling. Make a few words on a piece of paper with the symbols that are coming in your dreams. I promise that you don't have to buy a tarot or oracle deck or anything. You don't have to. Life is talking to you, and it's answering you, and it's also provoking you to ask the questions that you never really formed into a question in the first place because you're like, what's the bother? Or I already know what the answer is. Aries is going, no, you don't. You never even asked the question. I'm telling you to write the question any damn way you want to, but you need to ask the question. Why does this keep happening to me? Ask the damn question. Anything is possible. Oh, you might get an answer. Wouldn't that be nice? Because once we have the answer, we're not so stuck on, why is that always happening to me? I mean, it absolutely unlocks a habit, gives us the key that we'll never have to be there anymore. We'll never have to do it that way again because we finally turned and saw Aries, it from another angle. That's Aries.
Well,
but Aries is intense energy. It's intense. I mean, we have to be able to have the fire of the commitment.
Yeah. The Ram. I don't know. I also think that, without that fire, we don't really get things done either. It's good that, like, without passion, we'd just be a bunch of depressed, NPCs walking around, right? We wouldn't have a fire in us when we hear a song or when we dance, or I'm not just talking about action and war, but like the passion too.
The feel-good fire.
Mm-hmm.
The feel-good fire. It doesn't have to be on offense or defense. It's just literally like sometimes when you're dancing and you got that little musical, theatrical, comedic buzz on, the reason it feels good is you're happy to be in that moment. Like you're not thinking about when you get home, you're not thinking about where you came from. That might have been on your mind as you walked in the door, but when you feel the music or you're with that particular energy of a person and you're actually dancing or at the campfire or whatever, it becomes palatable. You're wearing it, you're feeling it, you're tasting it, you're allowing the actual energy frequencies to flow in and through you because you're not threatened by anything. It feels so good. Aries is saying, choose that.
There's this movie, I forget the name of it, but it had Don Johnson, the guy that was in Miami Vice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
a Leo.
Oh man, I forget
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Jennifer Connelly, and it was a rated R flick. I wasn't supposed to watch when I was a kid, but I watched it all the time, right? When you're a kid, you pop VCR tapes in. You're not supposed to watch when your parents are gone.
Absolutely.
But that was my first initiation into this Aries energy, and I remember, I told you about this too, where this chick kind of throws herself down a sawdust hill naked, and Don Johnson's looking at her like, "What the hell is she doing?" And she says, "It ain't the falling down, honey. It's to climb back up," right? So without that Aries energy, you can't climb back up the hill either. You need that energy.
What is it that's going to, Aries is, also asks the question of, well, what is it that stimulates you and what is it that calls you into action? So what motivates you? What gets your motor going?
Yeah.
You can have the most expensive car in the world. If it doesn't start, it doesn't start. So the ignition, the starter, that's Aries saying, well, don't know exactly what the whole ride's going to be, but I'm in for the adventure. Let's see where it takes us. Let's see where life takes us.
Yeah,
But
Aries
we
would
had
be
that
like the initial fire into the engine for sure. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, it's like, here's the appliance, here's the automobile, here's everything that I need to get this show on the road. Here it is. It's the mechanic has all the tools, and I'm going to do a ceremony, and I'm going to light the candle. It's like when I light the candle, the energy it's on. It's on. So Aries is like, what is it you're wanting to shine more light into, and is it too bright for you? How are you doing with that extra light? What would you put extra light on? Which is, I'll go back to my eclipse ritual that I've done many, many times in my life because, we change our priorities. Things sell. We move on. It's not as important as it once was 7 years ago. That's why I say get you a notepad tonight and tomorrow. Sometime tonight, sometime tomorrow. Otherwise, you can do it again at the full moon at mid-month. But I would suggest here, because the new moon is about initiation and beginnings, rather than the releasings of the full moon and the confrontation. left side of that pad of paper, I'm really ready to release this, to let go of this. I want freedom from this. I don't want to think that kind of way. I don't want to have to be addicted that kind of way. I don't want to have to be owned or controlled or be controlling or have to be too possessive. I want to release those type of things that annoy me and don't serve my higher purpose. And on the right side, it's fine because it's you to you and your higher self to say, and I would like to invite in the following things, experiences, dynamics into my life. You can claim it. You can claim it. Anything's possible.
The Anvil and Vine Crafters Guild podcast said it's the hot spot. Yep, that's the name of the movie, The Hot Spot.
I haven't watched it. I'll have to do that. I did watch Miami Vice a lot because I thought, this is so fire sign Saggy. I just love this,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, too. Like, if you want to look at an engine, the Aries, we're impulsive, right? I mean, we learn a lot of hard lessons. But if you're thinking about an engine runs it can really rev up its horsepower when it runs balanced. When it's balanced, when everything's running, you got all the perfect compression, the engine's built perfectly, it's taken care of perfectly. It's got so much horsepower that it can barely stand itself. It's when things get out of whack is when the engine fails. So as Aries, we learn a lot of hard lessons because we just kind of shoot first and ask later. But when you climb back up, you just take those lessons with you, and now you get an even better experience, I think.
They're with you. Yeah, they're with you forever. I'll have to watch that movie, Hot Spot, with Don Johnson. The other thing about Aries is this is at 9 degrees, and I find this interesting. 2024 added up numerologically to an 8-year once you reduce down the numbers of 2024, add them all together, and got down to single digit. And that big eclipse in Aries was on April 8th. This eclipse is at 9 degrees of Aries, and 2025, because it's the year right after 2024, and if 2024 was an 8, 2025 is a 9. Even in numerology, the single-digit numbers, the years 1 through 9, that completes a numerological cycle. So this year is a 9. So all of us, and especially Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, all of us are at the top cycle of 2026 becomes a brand new view, a brand new vista, brand new horizon, a brand new world type of a thing. So what needs to be rocked and rolled and shake, rattle, and roll this year that we've got to lose such a tight grip on. Sometimes people stay in situations or hold on tight to something, but I can't tell you how many times I've heard it from clients, both in my offices in Florida and North Carolina, and many times with clients of all ages and all genders. It's like, I know what I have isn't what I want, but I'm more afraid of what might be out there, even though I know what I have is not what I want. It's scarier for me to break up with this and get into something new. And I'm like, did you just listen to yourself? You're telling me, absolutely knowing that what you have in your personal life isn't enough, is crappy, abusive, whatever. And you know that you don't want to be there, but you're going to be there anyway because you really don't. You're a little afraid of what might be out there. You already got what you don't want. What about if what's out there is better?
That's the shadow lover. You've lost it. You've lost the warrior, man. If you had that warrior inside of you balanced, that warrior archetype balanced, you wouldn't even allow for the abuse. You'd go find what you're looking for. It's
interesting you use the word balance because that's Libra.
Yeah.
And Libra is the scales of balance, and Libra is always the archetype that energy of Libra can always help an Aries. It'll cool them down, give them a cool head. Cool heads prevail. It gives them the ability, because Aries really wants balance, but they just know what a strong warrior personality they are. Creator, 0 point Aries, the point of creation. Anything's possible. So this 9 degrees, there's a thing that we've talked about before called the Sabian symbols by Mark Edmund Jones and the clairvoyant that he worked with, Elsie Wheeler. So long story short, an astrologer got with a medium, a clairvoyant, and told her he wanted to get a vision from her, a clairvoyant representation of each one of the degrees of the zodiac, of all the signs, the 30 degrees of all the signs. So for 9 degrees of Aries, it's a crystal gazer. And so it's the ability of us, spirit into human, our capacity for bringing an entire universe within the purview of our mind and our innerverse. So there are higher frequencies and faculties of our human understanding, but we still like those omens and those divine symbols and it being in our personal experience that there are evidential realms of potentiality of change. So it's the concept that this world and our individuality is in a partnership, seeking balance, each reflecting the other. And so we're hoping to give each other a preview and a foreview of how every possible mood or situation could actually be brought into an aliveness. So the key word for this is acuteness. So when we're positive, the 9 degrees of Aries is an insight into planning the course of events or our commitments or how we're going to organize them in the light of immediate convenience. So we're leaving idle curiosity. We're surrendering our need to say, I know what's going on. I know how to fix this. I'm the best at this. We have to look at all the varieties and verities of the moment and then say, why don't I start at the top? Why don't I just invite Spirit into this? Thank you for in my dreams and my prayers and my meditations. Thank you, may I say it in advance, that I give you the lead in my story. Thank you for directing my life. Yep, you're the director. I surrender. I reflect. I allow the harmony of all that the best, better version of me can bring forth. And I will continue to work on that process because it's good in all aspects of being. It's good. It's healthy for all the connections that we have, the doors that are opening and the doors that are closing. So the Aries eclipse is here to shake things up. And an eclipse in Aries doesn't do anything happen.
Another thing I've realized too is that when you look back at the past, you're not supposed to get too nostalgic and just dread on your past, but I do sometimes. But when I look back, that Aries energy that was involved, whether it was me or somebody else, another good thing about it is it's always been an agent of change. If there's something that, like you were saying earlier, I can't leave this relationship because he's got my CDs or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like something stupid. If you get Aries energy in there, you can bet something's going to change, right? They're just going to go in there and blow it up.
Well,
they're just going to smash in there and change everything.
Yeah, Aries people tend to throw things, break things. It's very volcanic. They can be very eruptive, but that eruptive emotional aspect of them can also make them very tender and inviting partners.
Yeah. We're good lovers, all right? That's why that's why all of you are afraid of us, because we're good lovers. You're scared. Don't be scared.
Well, you make a good point there, because what happens is people like to flit and flirt and invite the dance, the mating dance to happen, but then there's people that they're with, and it's just like, yeah, that was fun, but it was no real challenge. I'm not talking about performance now. I'm talking about the person that really sees you, the person that really knows how to touch you, the person that really knows, while you and I are right up in here, you and I are going to be up in here.
Right.
So it's like, and then they go their way and you go your way, and it's just like, oh, that's different. No, that's different.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, and then we'll take some calls. But I'm going to have to hang up on this phone because while Mary was talking, just so you guys know, Skype is done. They're ending their whole thing. So for the last 40 minutes, I found another phone service. So thanks to you guys' support, by the way. So I'll hang up during the break and call you on that phone service so the phone line's open for people to call. But correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've noticed this in like a lot of charts and stuff and people I've talked to. And so like I'm an Aries sun, Libra rising, like a lot of Aries are. I know that I am, but what I've found is like that sun sign is always striving towards the energy of the rising sign. So when people are like, man, I'm afraid of Aries or Aries. Oh, that, how you see it all. Oh, they're an Aries. No, pass. Right. Because everybody's like scared of Aries or whatever. And
Scorpio, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Scorpios too. Right. But
heard it all my life.
For me, like I long for the Libra thing. Like if people knew that this Aries and probably some other Aries really longs for that partnership thing, that union. But it's got to be balanced. I think that's where we get a little bit shadowy. Like if it's not perfect, if it's not what we think it should be, like you were talking about earlier, we get a little fiery-sided about it.
What calms Aries is what Libra represents. What will assist Libra is the fire that Aries can bring to say, oh, hi, I'm blah, 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 and how's your life? And you finally get to that conversation of, well, do you like your job? Well, blah, blah. And the Aries would say to the Libra, so then change it. What? How many more months or years are you going to? Yeah, you need to do something different. You do need to see, but you just need to do something different. And the Libra's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what's out there, but I know what I've got here is exactly what I don't want. And I literally go back to that old Saturday Night Live skit where that woman played a therapist, and she said the same thing to any couple's problem that came on her little psychology TV show skit that they did on Saturday Night Live. They would say, I'm afraid of falling. I'm afraid of falling. I'm here with my wife to get help because she's so afraid of falling. In a very deadpan, flat affect, I think it was played by Nora Dunn, serious Capricorn style of therapist, looked at the person with the problem, said the same thing to all of them, no matter what the phobia was. Have you looked at yourself? And they looked puzzled at first, and she goes, no, have you looked at yourself? And they're like, well, I don't know. And she goes, are you falling right now? Well, no. So, have you looked at yourself? You're not falling. Get over it. Look at yourself. And it was the same advice all the way through, and I'm like, that is the most perfect Aries comedy skit I've ever seen.
That's funny.
I've ever seen. And whether you like him or not, Phil McGraw, the TV, therapist that gets involved in people's crisis, chaos, circus dramas, he often will say to someone, how's that working out for you?
Mm-hmm.
Very Virgo-y. Person, he does this and I did this, and we fight all the time, and it's all that. And he goes, how's that working out for you? So it's another way of saying, what you've been doing is not working, time to change it. So, yeah, this is a cycle of change. And I would just like to suggest that the mystical, metaphysical, faith-based part of our intuitive intelligence and antenna of divine is we trust the process and we invite who's in charge really. Like Mary's gives the ultimate permission, yay or nay, but Mary is fine with the highest I am to be in charge of all of it.
You got to let the higher self run the show, man.
Yep, Mary has to trust that. And that's work. That's work 24/7. That's work. But it's doable, and I've seen the results, and I like them.
Glory. She likes the results.
Glory. Oh, thank you. Glory on the eclipse. Oh, how could we let the eve of the eclipse go without a mutual Joe and Mary? Glory is in the house. Thank you, Joe. I love that. Thank you for the glory.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to take a short break here, and then I'm going to switch phones so you can call in. Did we go through all the signs? Are we ready to take calls?
We did. I'd like to, well, let's let the audience tell you in the chat. And I'm fine with taking calls because I really want the signs to pay attention to what the overarching message is. This isn't just a month about, well, of course, we talked a lot about Aries and Libra because that's what's lighting up in our charts. I'd like to take the audience, if they want calls and psychic readings, I'm good with it because I really feel like if they pay attention to the energy, as I explained it, you can stop, you can take the, quote, zodiac, spice out of it and just apply the medicine, apply the energy medicine.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do the old switcheroo. I'm gonna call you on a different phone line. I can't believe they got Skype's been around for years, and now they're whatever. No, it's just Skype. Who cares?
So, are we hanging up too, or are you just hanging up on?
No, we're gonna hang up too, and I'm gonna call you on a different phone line so people can call on the regular phone line. Then when we come back, we'll take your phone calls. We'll do the classic cosmic conditions. That's what everybody loves. It's what they want.
Me too. Absolutely. I'm here. I'm here for the win.
Mary Ducina for the win. MaryDucina.com, y'all. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All that good stuff. All right, let's switch phones here.
Yeah.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
Have you ever wondered, what do the stars say for me? Or, will the next month or the next year be more favorable? How about, are our two signs compatible? Each month, at the new moon, you can ask these questions live. with me, your astrologer psychic, Mary Decina, along with host of Lighting the Void, Joe Root. Join us at the new moon for Cosmic Conditions. We look forward to working with your energies.
Every new moon at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fringe FM.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is Fee, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root in the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You are listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Root.
It is shining like the seeds of pomegranates in my hands. It's just us that's on this beach and all this sand, all of this water. I know, but damn, I know we ain't supposed to touch it. We only live once, man. You said, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Then said, take it, take it, take it. I said, didn't we do this really? Shouldn't we have waited? You're making faces, probably so am I. We're in the ocean, waves are rolling in your eyes. Pulses high, the heartbeats, we're being called to the other side. Girl, lost in the vibe, we can't sleep, our clothes off, feel so good inside. Girl, it's been so long since we've been away from home.
Well, they can't even hear me. So when you do the readings, make sure that I hate when I do that. I've been doing radio for years, and I still forget to hit the unmute button. Like years.
You know, Mercury is retrograde. Yeah, Mercury's retrograde. It's okay.
Jesus, you know. All right, so y'all ready to take calls? Let's do this thing. Let's do it. 216 area code. You're on the air, Mary. Well, make sure that Mary can hear you though. Can you hear her, Mary? Whoever this is.
Mary, can you hear me? It's Monica from Ohio, and Joe, you just cracked me up with the mute button thing.
Now she can hear you.
But Mary, I have to tell you and I have to give you kudos, and I'm really not asking much from anything from you, really, actually. I have felt so empowered the last couple months, just talking to you even once a month on the readings here or on your, the podcast. But
Thank
I
you.
just want to say how grateful I am for you, and I'm feeling more peace as day goes on. And I wonder if you can give me some more strength for this month coming up.
Absolutely. Thank you for entrusting Joe and I, and thank you for acknowledging the power of this show and that it reaches out to really do some good work on people, whether I'm doing it pro bono, Joe's doing it pro bono. Of course, there's always cost factors, but thank you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you
guys
for
are the bomb.
recognizing that.
You know that. Yeah.
Donate support.
I do. I love you guys. I do. You guys are worth more than what my dollar amount.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's a glory. That's a glory.
Yeah.
So I feel like
blessing.
What I'm seeing psychically is I'm seeing whoever it was around you, maybe you've been reminiscing a little bit and also recognizing how glad you are something has actually shifted away from the intensity it once was. Spirit said to me a couple things. It said someone was behaving stupidly, just absolutely stupidly, that it was just like, kind of like wouldn't listen to reason, their way or the highway kind of a thing. And it's like, that's a big one in life when we've got that little challenge around.
Saying that because it's so true. Yeah, absolutely.
Someone's been acting a fool.
I mean,
it used to hurt your heart. Yeah, you accept. And the second thing that I got was I saw this bouquet, and we're coming into, as Joe said, the spring bouquets. Like the flowers are blooming, whether they're wildflowers or whatever. And what I'm hearing is compliments and concrete admiration is forthcoming. That's not normally the way I talk. That's the way Spirit's giving me the message. So it's compliments, concrete, admiration, forthcoming. It's like, it kind of sounds to me like I'm on a roller coaster. Admiration and confidence. It's like I'm looping, but it feels fun, like a carnival ride. The ones you like, they can be really fun.
I'm looping with that, yeah.
So I feel like that whatever, and I wouldn't even dwell on it, wherever and whatever it was, and because it encompassed a lot, whatever it was where someone was choosing to behave
in my heart too,
yeah. That's like that door is closed, and it's important that you felt, as we talked earlier, about the power of grieving something, and then being able to say, you know what, that was then, this is now, I forgive and I move on for my sake and the better version of me. I'm not going to be captured there in the version of what brought forth from me. So you kind of like say no to the weakness and embrace the strength.
Do we have to forgive though? Like seriously?
Forgiving doesn't mean that you accept what they did.
Yeah, because I'm not, like, I've tried that before and it's like, yeah, but I don't really feel.
No. To thine own self be true. No, you can move on. Let's say a different word. For and give. I can be for giving myself the gift of moving on and away from deleterious, narcissistic, whiny, wimpy, it's all for me and never for thee kind of energies. That's my fault if I stay. That's my lesson if I stay that I may need. I can forgive myself first and foremost, or not. Some people don't. Like they move on, but they don't forgive themselves. So I can forgive myself, and if it's for giving myself a different way, a different opportunity, a different path, because the other one was so convoluted and so drama-driven, and like he said, she said, they said, why? So I could be enjoying.
That's what I thought too. I have to forgive to be the good person, but maybe I just need to forgive and just move on, and it's okay.
Or just move on.
Forgive what the
absolutely. Well, no,
I
mean, forgiveness forgiveness is about they chose to do what they did. I chose to react the way I did. For whatever reason, it was enough of a fracture or a wound that it wasn't going to continue to progress into something of more harmony as long as that wasn't addressed. So it's about, and if it doesn't get addressed, the fault line grows bigger and finally there's an eruption. So it's about, that was in my life and served multiple teaching purposes for many, many reasons. And it's not the key, it's not the key factor right now. And I do allow Spirit to put in something that's empowering and enlivening and reminds me in God's own perfect ways of the wonderful, magical things of this life. The wonderful, magical
You're
things
so
of
good
this
for
life.
the soul, because when you said, you're so good for the soul, Mary. I mean, seriously. We all kind of put ourselves at fault all the time.
Yep.
And, and then sometimes you got to draw the line, and there is where the fight in me comes out. But you do, and you forgive, and I want to forgive, and I want to be that good person. But like Joe said, too, sometimes, maybe you shouldn't.
I mean, it's not really like if you actually forgive somebody in your heart, then forgive them. But never do something because you want to be the good person, or especially if you want to appear to be the good person. Like,
that makes sense.
That's not really being a good person. Just be true to yourself. They betrayed me in a sense that hurt me really bad. You have to lock into that like warrior thing. Like the guards in England, they just stand there and they guard the door. You have to have one of those people in your, you have to have that kind of energy in your life, and it's not a forgiving or being a good person or whatever. It's just like, no, you don't come in here. You don't do that. That's it.
Yeah. I love you guys. Like I said, you're so good for my soul, and I look forward to talking to you guys. And
I'm grateful for your testimony, and I'm grateful for your true, real, raw emotions.
Guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, you guys help so many people, and you are just the bomb. I can't say anything. I can say a lot more, but people want to get in, so.
Thank you. You're gracious. You're very gracious. You're very gracious. Yep.
Thanks for calling.
You ease my heart every time I talk to you guys. You ease my heart.
That's a glory.
Every time.
That's a glory. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. That's a glory there.
Glory. 501-777-5631. Also, too, I'm not trying to be a jerk. That's not what I mean. It's just like, you remember those Tyler Perry movies? Oh, Medea.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Medea. Oh, I love Medea.
Medea would say it like this. Like, if you tell somebody, how did she say it? She said there's people that are meant to be in their life and people that aren't. And they're like leaves that grow on a limb. So if someone does something to you and you say, hey, if you keep doing this thing right here, that's going to be a problem. It hurts me, whatever. And if you even see that person trying to change, if they're actually trying to change, that brings a spirit of forgiveness a lot easier than someone just doesn't care. They just keep doing the same things to you over and over and over again. Then that means there's a child in you. There's a wounded child in you somewhere allowing that to happen. It's not mature to allow those things to happen. It's not even about forgiveness at that point.
It's about, it's, as I learned when I studied a lot of the Hindu and the Buddhist and the Eastern teachings and some of the Reiki teachings even, it's like the first forgiveness starts with you to you.
Yeah.
I forgive myself. I forgive myself for blaming myself for abusive situations. I forgive myself for allowing myself to I don't judge myself anymore. If I put up with the abuse until I could actually see, Aries, see a way out, see a way clear. So but it's always, no matter how many people comfort that person that was abused, until that person can also forgive themselves and take themselves out of, well, that happened to me, whether someone convinced them or not, because I'm a bad person. If I hadn't have done this, they wouldn't have had to hit me, whatever, whether it's parents, a lover, you did it, they did it. It's about anger being motivating or self-destructive.
Yeah.
And Aries, ruled by Mars, is also, like you said, the warrior. Okay, in society, it's the soldiers, it's the firefighters, usually it's the first responders and the ambulance. Because what do? They have permission, and they need to, but they have permission to just like, let's go. We got to get there. We got to do that. And I mean, it's an emergency that's going on. They're the first ones to see the emergency that just happened, the wreck, the death, the whatever it is. Those first responders are there on the scene. Call 911. That's Aries. So they deal with a high volume of adrenaline, and they sometimes crave that. I have to be purposeful. I have to do something. And then after they get into that high, it's got to be like, whoa, now I got to process this, and I'm really tired. And then it's on again. So they can be the emergency room staff. They can be the one that answers the 911 call center. They have to put that expertise, that skill into gathering as much information as they can with a professional and yet a kind of Libra-sounding compassion.
Looks like we got 801 area code. You're on the air. I think someone was just waiting and they hung up, Mary. They were tired of waiting on you.
Oh, sorry. Didn't know. Sorry, my bad.
Hi, Mary.
Apologize.
Hi, Joe. This is
how you doing?
Dalla from Utah.
All right.
Oh, hi. Happy almost Taurus
hi.
season, if I remember correctly. Dalla she won't say this herself. Dalla has this incredible, crafty Venusian way of, like, she makes creatures in nature, and you can't even call it quilting.
Yeah.
She'll say the right thing, but it's this incredible fabric, and like it's butterfly people, and it's fairies, and it's dolls and elves. And
yeah.
Butterfly people.
She even did a crow. She did a crow. I love crows.
Yeah.
And so I've got gifts.
I'm going to do more. I have more
cool.
crows on the, so I made it home, you guys, and I made it home in 2023. I'm struggling with a little bit of respiratory right now, so my voice is off. But I just wanted to call and say my gratitude for you, for the show, and for you, Mary and Joe, and I've just kind of laid low. I've been getting my ducks in a row. And then I wanted to just kind of touch, like, the things that you say, Mary, and the inspiration. A show or two ago, maybe a month ago, you says if you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't know why you're awake, instead of being angry about it and fretting, just ask, what's the message? And so I hadn't been able to get in my art room. I had a block. Every time I would go in there, I would have an emotional block. And I was waking up at 3 a.m. every night. And so after I heard you say that on the show, I did that. I said, okay, in pitch dark, 3 a.m, and I just says, okay, so what's the message? And it was loud and clear. It wasn't like my voice or my dialogue. It was a message it were words that said, get your weaving looms out of there. Get your looms out of there. And I was like, wow, And so when I was in Cedar, before I moved home, I was in a very abusive situation. And I turned to the Weavers Guild, and I learned how to weave because it was soothing to my brain, because I wouldn't have to think. I would just count. So anyway, I went in there the next day, and I just didn't even ask any questions. I didn't even think about it. I got my weaving looms put away. I put them away kindly, with kindness and gratitude. I put them away, put them on the shelf so I don't have to look at them. And like the day after that, I went in there and I drew the butterfly patterns, and I made the butterflies without, it just happened. It was just magical. So anyway, yeah.
That is wonderful.
Wow.
That is wonder filled. I mean, there's so much wonder in this metamorphic tale that you tell. I mean, I won't speak for Joe, but I will tell you, I have always loved the callers and the audience and how life has its ups and downs. And it's so brave for people to call in, to actually call in and swallow their pride, so to speak, and just share these stories, because I'm telling you, it mushrooms in the most magical of ways. Sunflowers bloom everywhere because somebody that would never call the show, someone that was right on the edge or this or that, hears it. I've heard it over the decades of doing radio.
Yeah.
And you hear it on the side. Joe hears things on the side. And so when you do what you do, not only I can feel the gratitude in your spirit over how you allowed spirit to speak to you and to just lean into the ritual and do it. And then you got an immediate loud and clear, wasn't my voice, wasn't my thought, and you didn't question it. You went and you did it.
Well, you facing your fear,
your art came back.
And you went back to you say you went back home? Is that what you said?
Well, I ran off with a covert narcissist, unbeknownst to me. I ran off, and so I had left my home. I rented my house, and I moved away, like 300 miles away. And then it was a horror, and I got really sick. My daughter had died. I just went through the valley of the shadow of death.
Oh, man.
And he had he had some major emotional issues, but anyway, I was protected, but I had to get my ducks in a row and get home. I had to do it carefully, and so I did. And so I went through some rough times back when I first started listening to Lighting the Void. I was in a really dark place, physically with my health, and emotionally with my daughter's death, and then with, the man monster that I was with. And I had to find my way home. I had no help, but it worked out because I would get these, whether I called in or not. Sometimes I'd call in and I was so afraid that I couldn't even use my name. Like, what the heck for? It was just like living in fear. But even when I didn't call, I always listen, and I always listen for the message, because the message that you and Mary give to other people helped me. And I took just like, don't be upset when you wake up in the middle of the night. Ask Spirit, what's the message? That was powerful. But anyway, I came home. So I've made it home to my little house here in at the mouth of Provo Canyon, and it's beautiful. It's just a cute little cottage home, and it's home. I've been here since 1993. And it's a blessing.
So rich.
You wouldn't even the way I can look through my life, and even with this home, he wanted me to sell this house so bad, and legal things got in the way where I couldn't sell it, and it was a blessing. I can look and see that. Yes. Yep. Just I get chills right now.
You got to go with the river, right? Like, even when you're scared, you got to jump in the river and let the current take you. And that you knew that deep down. I got to go. I got to get out of here. I got to go.
Oh yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
See, that's the beauty in the feminine. You really tapped into your heartstrings right there, the feminine energy, which is bringing out all these butterflies now, because you faced it down.
Yes.
You faced down some tough stuff. Most people would have fell apart.
Amazing. Well, I think I did a few times, and sometimes I get on that pity pot, and I'm like, even now I've been dealing with some illness, and it's like I'm back home near my family, but they're not around.
I know that feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like, dang, man. But I'll get on that pity pot, like, God, I moved home to be with my family and to give and receive, and it kind of is different. It's like my family. And this is another thing I'm learning from the show, listening, is that, members of one's family aren't always born under the same roof.
Right. They're not always your blood relatives.
Not always your tribe.
And think about this too. A lot of abuse happens from this too. That goes back to like the Renaissance, where people used to say, well, it's blood. Even back to incest. Okay, just hear me out. Yeah. The ideas of family is only our blood relatives, and we have to remain loyal to them no matter what, comes from a very old, ancient, even kind of messed up idea. Okay. It doesn't mean that we don't love our family. We naturally do. But what I'm saying is this. It was you faced everything I just heard in your story. You faced down like 5 or 6 major things. Not one, a whole lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of fears all at once. Mm-hmm. And by listening to Spirit, like you're going to have the rest of your life. I'm sure Mary's picking up on this too. Like you're going to have the best connection with Spirit because of it. The best.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By her own
I'm
statement.
amazed
By her own statement. I walked in the shadows of the valley of death. She lived it.
Yeah. My clients have come back. I was away for 6 years, and I've got a 20-year practice in massage therapy, but it's more than massage. There's a lot of, and when I go in with calling all the angels from the mountains to the sea for them, to guide me for my client, and they work. It works, and so there's absolute healing and happiness here. And so, I'm finally back in the art room. I don't need to weave anymore. That was just something I did that was like to get me through a period of time. And
served its purpose.
Yes, yeah. So anyway,
is
sorry
this
about
the same
my voice,
Dalla
man.
I see smiling with that big, beautiful smile on social media all the time?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even, just by
Well,
looking at you, I wouldn't even believe, like the energy that comes off of you. I wouldn't even believe that you went through some of that stuff. That says
it
a
was
lot
crazy.
about you.
Yeah. Thank you. It was crazy, man. I don't even know. I don't know how I got 2 zebra illnesses. I got sick with 2 illnesses that the doctors took them 2 years. This was after my daughter died. It took them 2 years to diagnose me. And the whole time I'm with this monster, and I had a little dog, and then Butters. Okay, you guys. And then if you see this cat, Butters was injured when my boys were like, Mom, what are the odds that another orange cat would find you? Because
so cool.
This is my 5th orange cat. He was injured. His little rump. Someone had shot him, and I guess it looked like a pellet gun or something out there. And I just embraced him, and I had to lure him in with food and love and catnip, and at the same time, my tailbone, I had sciatic nerve pain down both legs. My mother was dying that year, and I had to stay in with the monster for 1 more year because I had to. Anyway, I got this cat, and the cat is an absolute, soulmate. I'm not sure the term to put on this cat, but he's a guardian. And what a
guardian.
Oh my God.
He's a guardian. He's an energy healer. He wanted to show you it isn't just in human form, although that's still possible. Absolutely, the doors are open for that. But the cat is like, let me just show you, pretty lady. This is what love feels like.
Yeah. And I stood up to the monster. He told me, no cats and all this and that. But anyway, it is a neat story how Spirit and Mary, Mary has talked to me about my daughters. You've talked to me about my little dog, my aunt, and my mother, and getting and the courage. This is the longest. I don't mean to take up much more time, but I just wanted to say thank you and wanted to tell you about waking up in the middle of the night and getting that message and following through.
Thank you for trusting you to do the ritual so you could see for you and your God and your guides and your wisdoms and your angels. You allowed your choice of spiritual divination and love to talk to you, and it did simply when you asked.
Enjoy your healing journey.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, both of you, because I know that both of you I know that you're in my life for a reason as well, and I can see it, and I'm appreciative. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please call
you.
back
Thank
too.
you, Dalla. And Butters too. Keep kitty.
Yes. Thank
The
you. I'll be in
Magic
touch.
King.
I'll see you on. Yes.
Thank
Love
you,
you
Dalla.
guys.
Thank you, honey. Thank you for your kindness to Joe and I. Really, it matters and it magnifies.
What a
it.
cool message. All right. That's awesome.
Glory. Glory.
Yeah, that's insane. I had no idea that she went through all that stuff.
Proud
honestly.
of her.
I don't know
She could have
what is going on with my phone. I can hear it ringing, but now I can't see it ringing. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to call this number back, if that's okay. We'll take one or two more calls, and then, sorry, I couldn't see the phone ringing. This is 828 area code. You're on the air with Mary Ducina.
Hey, guys, it's Lisa in Murphy.
What's up,
How
Lisa?
y'all doing?
Hello, Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Blessings to you.
I caught y'all at the very last minute.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, the phone was ringing. I don't know what. It is definitely a retrograde thing. I can literally hear the phone ringing now, but it's not popping up for me to answer it. And then it just keeps showing missed calls, so I called you back.
Oh, that's funny. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope y'all are both doing well. I'm sorry I missed the whole entire show. I will go back and listen to the replay. But I was like getting ready for my son's baby shower tomorrow, and I literally just now came upstairs to my room, and I'm like, oh gosh, I was supposed to listen to a thing tonight. Let me try to at least call. But if it's meant for me to get through, I will get through.
Yeah. Her and Libra, Joe. Libra. So see, her intentions are like, well, I'm only shooting an arrow of appreciation and love. And see, she gets through all the time. Lisa gets through all the time. Because she sets her intention beforehand.
Divine.
Congratulations. Yeah. So congratulations on your son's new baby coming in, and blessings on the birth, blessings upon the baby, and blessings upon their coupleship and the majesty, the sheer majesty.
Glory.
Truly, a miracle. Yeah.
Yes,
many miracles
truly.
in that story. Yeah, really, Lisa. Yeah. Many miracles in that story. Yeah, there's a lot of holy intervention around Lisa and her family.
Absolutely.
It's really like shock and awe type of stories, Joe. I mean, just like really like, I hear these kind of stories and I'm like, don't tell me that there isn't supernatural assistance and energy in this world. Do not tell me, because as much as something can look like the end or a crisis. Yep.
Absolutely.
So one of the cards I got for you is the Archway, and it represents new opportunities, grand possibilities, and paths are opening up. So I feel psychically, intuitively, the paths that are opening up are very private. You keep it to, you share a lot, you give a lot, but these are the private paths. These are the paths that you celebrate, weave into reality, wish for, long for, whatever it is. These are receiving a lot of supernatural light right now. A lot of the whole Pisces, Aries, literally the one, you've come down one side of the mountain and it's there's like that little divide between the mountains, and then you're going to go up on the other side. So it's just like it's as above, so below, and this whole thing is like you're leaving certain aspects behind of thought or analysis or style or priority. And what you're moving into with the Aries energy is like, I am so grateful that I am doing and seeing and sticking to that which I've always held to speak to me in my spirit and to actually answer me, in whether it's fears or whether it's hopes, that has guided me, as independent as I am. That's what Spirit's telling me, as independent as she is. The part of her that was like Robin Hood that said, no, all for one and one for all. But when Spirit, no matter what I'm doing or who I'm with, if I get that feeling and that intensity, it's hold it, I'm paying attention.
Yes, ma'am.
And I feel that that kind of waterfall, because it's been intense and tense, that kind of waterfall is what's going to now begin to flood, that the pretty clear, white, frothy water. The beauty of a waterfall is a friendly waterfall. There's scary ones, but the friendly waterfall is coming towards you, as far as that part of you that really wants to make sure everybody that you love and care for is emotionally okay. I got that one positioned, now there's a part of you that says they all need to be okay with me. manifesting and creating something in my life now that I want to go play with, that I want to build with, that I want to be committed to. So it's like you've done your job. You've accepted a lot of people through thick and thin, forgiven, attempt, blah, 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 set boundaries, all of that. And now it's time for you to say to them, I don't have strings attached to what I did for you, but I do have a declaration to make. It's my turn.
Absolutely. It's crazy you mentioned a waterfall because in like a path and, kind of a private situation, and wasn't that it was super private, but anyways, to make a long story short, I went and saw a new waterfall that I had not seen in Tennessee. And literally as I'm leaving, I look down, and as sure as we're on the phone right now, there was a arrowhead laying perfect. I mean, the not perfect, but perfectly right in my path. I was like, wow. I said, oh my God. I just stopped, took a picture, and picked it up. It was more like a spearhead. The tip was broke, but it was beautiful.
Aries rules weapons. Yeah. Aries rules, things that cut and slice. And an arrowhead, Aries, an arrowhead also can be like, sometimes it's what actually propels the weight and the slicing, the precision of the literal arrow to come out of the bow. And the arrowhead was often used for many functioning types of things, and they're held to be very sacred because they were always handcrafted.
Yes.
So
I kept feeling it going, oh my God. Wow. And of course I was with an Aries when this happened.
Oh,
hey, now, we're not all bad. We're not all bad.
No, I love Aries. I absolutely love Aries. My daddy was Aries. My kid's name Aries.
I feel like I'm missing something here. Okay, so you're having a baby? Like you had a baby and having a baby shower?
No, her son.
No, God, no, I'm not. I have no baby. I'm 50 years old.
Oh, okay. All right. Because this whole conversation is going on, and you're like, Lisa this, and I'm like, what? You might have called in, and I probably forgot. Like, I feel like I'm missing an entire story here,
Oh, I didn't know.
It's been a whole lot since last time we talked. You can tell him whatever, Mary. I don't care.
Yeah, I feel like...
it's been exciting.
The only thing I feel is just like this independent, adventurous kind of energy, but I don't understand the rest of what's going on here.
It's been a whole lot, Mary.
Yeah, she has been there with her ability to be that independent, strong woman. She allowed some of the energies of those type of skill sets and strengths to either stand up, stand for, and also support and believe in people that were spiraling around her, businesses and friendships and relationships and things like that. So she has learned how to do that now in her life without it draining her.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's like, so you're coming into your like queendom, right?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes, absolutely.
That's really good.
And amazing.
So you should tell her about that book that you're reading.
Okay, all right. I'm going to tell you guys about this. I have to. This thing was like a godsend to me. I'm going to tell you while I got you on the phone too. All right. So, you know how Mary is always talking about like, don't learn things the hard way. Let's learn things the right way. Well, sometimes we need guidance. Like I don't know why I keep running into these same cycles, and so then the archetypal energies thing started coming to me. And this guy named Robert Moore that I found is like amazing. And he talks about this both for men and women, these 4 archetypes that these energies are always here with us. And it kind of corresponds to the elements too. But I was telling Mary during the break, you got the magician, the lover, the warrior, and the king. For women, it's the same. It's the warrior, the queen, the high priestess, and the lover. And there's dark sides and good sides to these archetypes. But if you really study these energies, it like makes a perfect pyramid too. You'll realize how to come where you've gone wrong and all these different things. It's hard. It's like 4 shows I got to do to talk about it, but I plan on talking about it. But I would check out like if you're really thinking, man, what is really like mature masculinity or mature femininity? Not what people are saying on the internet and all this crazy stuff. What is it really? I would check out Robert Moore for sure.
Okay. Is it a specific book or is it just like a series?
He has a whole bunch of lectures on YouTube, and he's passed away too. But he's a Jungian analyst. He's just a psychologist. He's not a super spiritual guy or anything, even though he talks about it. But it's really cool stuff. Awesome. I'm getting that vibe from you. This super coming into the tip of the pyramid vibe from you.
Okay.
You know.
Well, that's a good thing. It
is. It is. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Very appreciative. Very appreciative.
You just came. You said you just came in toward the end of the show. What we talked about in the first hour, the main theme for you astrologically is this Aries eclipse is a graduation ceremony, cycle, manifestation of what we've all gone through for the last 18 and a half months. So the last year and a half. So you being a Libra, Aries and Libra are the ones that have had the most goings on the last year and a half. Lots of like, wow,
crazy,
that's a circus tent right there. Dun, 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 dun. So those two signs especially are receiving the honors of completion and graduating a big course. So like elementary school and high school, like a big, So not just a trade school but the big long stretch of when you got to go to school. So this is that kind of graduation because it ties back to 19 years ago.
19 years ago. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like that you mentioned 19 years ago, because 19 years ago is when I was pregnant with Amadeus, who is 18 now.
Amadeus?
And Amadeus, my youngest son. Yeah,
that's a cool name.
Isn't that a cool name?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And to make a long story short, he went on a search for his birth father because I terminated his rights. Because he was extremely toxic and abusive and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he found one of his brothers by another woman the woman before me, that I did not even know that kid was even alive. I knew about a few more. So we have went and met Amadeus's brother, Chris. And in turn, I have become friends with this boy's mother on Facebook. And you talk about 19 years ago, my baby daddy and her, he finally supposedly got sober and got his shit together, pardon my language, but they just got married. I swear. I'm like, wow, hallelujah, sister. I hope he's changed, and I hope he's everything you should admit. I know, right? But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Isn't that crazy?
It's its own reality show.
Yeah.
I could make some money. I'm telling you. Yeah, really.
Right. She could do it. She could do one of those blogs, to where she said, okay, I'm here for the crazy hour. I'm here for the crazy hour. So you can call in, keep your language clean, and you can tell me the cray-cray of your life, because in between the commercials, I'll give you a little, we've not changed the names in order to protect the innocent. I'll give you a little bit of the cray-cray of my life. The people and the situations have been changed to not protect their identity. I mean, you could really do like part humor and reality comedy. It's the world so needs it. And there's a Pluto and Aquarius idea.
Yeah, like truly, like even as toxic as he was for me, the short year and a half we were together, and that was the only man walking the face of this earth that I personally had fear of him. Carried a weapon in my car because of this man. I genuinely prayed for this man. Like, I don't know what his demons are, what he's fighting. I don't care. It's not my problem. But he's going to have to be prayed upon at a distance. And the only time I've had any contact with him was when Amadeus went on a search for his other siblings. And I asked Amadeus, do you want me to reach out? So, of course, I reached out and just told him, basically Amadeus doesn't want to have anything to do with him at this point in his life. Basically, but I wish you well, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason I did. And of course, he was fairly cordial, but he did tell me he had gotten sober. He got his 90-day chip, and that was about, I'd say, a year and a half ago, maybe year and a half ago, probably, maybe something like that. And I never had no more speakings to him or anything. And even when like Hurricane Helene hit, my niece Rebecca, she's off in Nevada, Las Vegas. And she sent me $1,000 to go allocate to people that I personally knew needed help during Hurricane Helene. And so I actually reached out to my baby daddy's other baby mama And I said, hey,
Some
I know I've
baby
not
daddy,
ever met
baby
you in
mama stuff
person.
going on here.
Yeah, I said, I know I've not actually met you in person, but our boys are brothers, and so that makes you some sort of family in some crazy web. I'm going to send you some money. What's your Cash App? So, and I did, and I just feel like, some people are like, how could you be like that? And I'm like, why would I want to send negative energy to someone who already had so much negative energy? It's just not how I roll. You know what I mean? I might have wanted to do some bad things in different seasons and different moments, but, I had to consciously make the right decision, and I'm glad I did, So, anyways.
It takes discipline. It takes discipline.
Yes, ma'am, it does. So, and a lot of guidance, and I thank you so much for being there all these years.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that people are able to actually see results in their own life of the collaborations that Joe and I have been doing for at least 6 years this summer. So it's like we have our own little issues and things that come up, but to have that support and beyond any of the 3D world, to be able to get testimonies and witnessing of people saying, hey, that right there comforted me, hugged me, helped me be a little bit stronger for the next day. So it doesn't have to be minor or major. It's just, it made a difference in a good way. In a way,
stuck in my head. Yeah. There's literally things that both of you have said.
I'm flattered if anything I ever do or represent helps another person be self-empowered, them and their God, that they have a divine inspiration happen to them that I may never even hear or know about. But the fact that the meeting or the greeting or the moment spent or talked on the phone and doing readings and stuff, how so many people have richly blessed me over the years by saying, hey, 10 years ago, hey, last year I thought this, and boom, it turned around, and I'm like, yeah, that's spirit. Yeah, that's the glory of spirit. Yeah, that's glory in the house. So I'm so grateful to be a satellite dish, if you will, a spiritual satellite dish, to be able to get myself completely out of the way and just watch the flow along with the other person of what spirit wants to say, unencumbered by me, my ego, my personality. What spirit says, that's what you're going to get. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. Like, I don't even want to have a dog go to a fight, but I'm not in that one because I bow to that. I bow to what Holy Spirit, breathe me. It's like the girl before you that called with the respiratory thing and that you've been going through. There's a lot of people that have been going through Aries things, the sinus, the eyes, the ears, the hair, the skin, and such. And so she was talking that she had gone through out of the valley of the shadow of death. She had gone through some health challenges. And so I've been hearing a lot about people's backs, lower backs, and then I've also been hearing people about breathing and respiratory and being gifted the ability to breathe free again.
Nice.
The freedom.
That is very true.
I can decompress. Yeah, I can decompress. I've got room to breathe. Thank God I can just breathe. I just want to be here and I just want to be in this moment. So those physical things that we sometimes go through on the physical body, again, are medicine messages in our life of like, this is where the stress was storing in your body. It doesn't have to be stored here. Get out of the loop. Get out of the loop. What you didn't hear, because you said you just ran upstairs and caught the end of the show and decided to call in. We talked about Hurricane Helene, 6 months anniversary.
I'll definitely go back and listen.
This girl right here, Joe, so she didn't hear that. She's going to go do the replay of the show. Audience, this girl didn't hear when I was talking about from flood to fire about the Swanoa area and going through that western part of North Carolina and parts of Tennessee. This girl here and her advocates went into the area, boots on the ground. So you're talking like the Amish and like the Cajun Army. This person here, as well as many of my friends over in western North Carolina, decided to go see for themselves. So in the earlier hour, Lisa, I'll say this and I'll stop. I said, when it comes to this area, you're talking about boots on the ground. You're talking about, I don't care what your opinion is.
Come hell or high water.
I saw, yeah.
Within 48 hours, I was there, so absolutely.
Yeah.
Against all my kids, and you, Mom, you don't need to be there. I don't care.
So there wasn't any like tarot cards pulled tonight. I pulled one, and I got 9 of Cups energy for you. I think I want to see what Mary gets. Nine of Cups is a good card. That's like the card you want to get to emotionally when you're before you get to that Ace of Cups, right? Like Nine of Cups is like, I'm good. I'm real good. Right
well,
here.
The Nine of Cups is the Nine of Hearts. And what I also said in the first hour is this eclipse is at 9 degrees and that this year, 2025, adds to a 9. So it's reviewing the past. It's reviewing the past. And also letting that cycle go, like that version of ourselves served its purpose, and so now we set her free. The card that I got was the 8 of Diamonds, the 8 of Pentacles, and this is a work in progress. So he gets a wish will be granted, the 9 of Cups, the 9 of Hearts. That's the emotions. Are my feelings flowing? So it's okay to grieve. It's okay to have a different look at your past, at these exes, as you said, the only man I ever feared, and then the baby daddy meeting the other woman that bore 2 sons. You have one, she has one. They're brothers. So like understanding there was a brotherhood that you never knew about, and you kept telling in your story. You kept telling in your story. That was about a year and a half ago. So first I said 18 to 19 years ago, and then I reminded the audience that these eclipse cycles, they take a year and a half. It's 18 months. It's just shy of 2 years. So the year and a half cycle, what took us a year and a half to process and go through and grieve or let go from, and the plan that we had. We heard Dalla when she called in earlier saying, I stayed a whole nother year because my mother was dying. I stayed a little over a year because my mother was dying. So these little year and a half cycles are these nodal eclipse cycles that come into our life. And so, as I said, the first Virgo eclipse, to conclude our show, the first Virgo eclipse, the dual eclipses of March 2025, it's in Virgo saying the 8 of Pentacles here. There's work to be done. There's details that are important, but don't get stuck in the data. Don't let the devil get in the details. Do what you need to do. You don't have to do it the hard way. Don't be so headstrong. Get her done. Move on.
Yeah.
And the Aries eclipse now is saying, cut the ties. Cut the ties.
Absolutely.
Well, now I'm caught up now. So when you call back in, I'll know for sure now.
Okay. Sounds good. Good.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Lisa.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all both. Yes, ma'am. Y'all too.
And let's see. We're 25 minutes. Yeah, I can't take another call. We're way over. So, all right. I want to give thanks to Monica for the 1999 super chat, Kitty Herbs for the 1999 super chat, and Craig for the YouTube membership. And thank you guys so much for your support. That right there is literally what just happened. It's crazy how synchronistic things are. That right there paid exactly what I just paid for that new phone line. To the dollar.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
That's so cool. So thank you guys.
And that's the rush. That's the life rush. I like soul rushes. I like soul orgasms because it's just like the soul is uplifted and there's like that pregnant pause in a sense, and the soul is like, I am at one with the all that is. That's a cosmic orgasm. I am at one with the all it is. I'm at the 0 point of Aries of creation. My heart, my mind, my body, my intuition, I'm in sync absolutely with the all that is, the almighty I am.
I want some ice cream right now.
That's good. I like that. Your inner child's happy.
Yeah, I want some ice cream right now. Bad. I think I'm going to go get some. But
go get you some ice cream.
Man, what is it's Aries season. I'm all just naturally happy during Aries season. The only thing I don't like, Mary, and I know it's natural, and I know there's a big metaphor for it and stuff, but all the pollen is crazy. Like there's a lot.
No, it is.
Of pollen, man.
Tennessee, the yellow pollen.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I think that one of the colors associated with the number 9 is the yellows and the golds. So
yeah,
I had yellow really grab my attention last autumn, and I'm like, wow, I like yellow, but I don't really have. I don't have that in my wardrobe, and that's not a clothing that I buy. That's interesting. Maybe I'm supposed to pay attention to yellow. Saw the first butterfly here in East Tennessee for the season. I looked for the first bat and the first butterfly, and when the geese come back, yeah, I'm that girl.
And I got stung by a yellow bumblebee too.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. We've got the carpenter bees that are buzzing around that like to get curious, and the wasps came out today.
But I saw the first butterfly, and it was that beautiful kind of in between lemon and sunflower yellow, and it just flew right by me. And last year it was one of those black and blue ones. So I'm like, yellow it is. Yellow is still talking to me. Still talking to me.
Well, in the Golden Dawn, when Arthur Edward Waite made these cards, yellow is actually the color for air a lot of times, and it's hidden in there. So even in the Cups energy, the 9 of Cups represents Yesod, which is kind of like that when you face the east, the air, the astral realm. So you're coming into that moon sphere of Yesod into the Cups energy, and you're bringing them both together, and that's the 9 of Cups is like when you finally face down that moon energy that's been running your life forever, and you've beat those cycles, and now you're coming into emotional fulfillment. It's a really good card.
It is, and for me, the 9 of Cups, those beautiful golden cups, and the hands up and the celebration of the frequencies of the heavens. For me, I know it as the wish card. It's your wish. I always see the blue genie and the gold
coming true.
lamp that you rub. Thy wish will be granted. Thy wish is granted. Your wish will come true. And I started the show with anything is possible.
Yeah, and guys, make sure you watch my tarot series, because I'm getting into like really deep. We're gonna do it's so crazy. The whole mystery teachings, everything about the mystery schools is all in that tarot deck. It really is. Tarot is such a beautiful thing, man.
Number one, you've got a good voice. You've got a very pleasant voice, a very soothing voice. You've been told that lots of times over the 5 years I've been with you. And you have an unusual voice. It's very calming. And that's just when you're relaxed, that's who you are. And so to give voice to the books that you believe in and the tarot deck that you believe in, to actually give audio to that and let your words go off into the ethers, into the air, and then they're recorded and people can watch them and sense and grow from that. And so the seed, just like a little dandelion seed, it goes further and further and further. So it's nice that you're taking the time to give a voice to the Golden Dawn. And the 9 of Cups, we talked about yellow, and we talked about gold for the number 9.
Yeah. And Georgiana, thank you for the support, for the 20 super chat. You guys are awesome. Make sure you get a reading from Mary. If anybody's listening and hasn't got a reading from Mary, I want to challenge somebody. And there's a few of you, and I know who you are because we've had conversations. One of you specifically, and I know you told me not to say anything, but you're a skeptic of all this. Now, you can't be a true skeptic if you don't actually try it out. See, real skepticism wants to find the truth. So find the truth, get a reading from Mary, and then come back and tell me what you think. That's what I say. Do it.
Thank you, Joe. And by the way, happy birthday to Joe, coming up on the first day of April. Happy birthday, Joe. I hope this is the best Aries portal opening of bliss and love and wonder and harmony that you've experienced thus far.
April Fool's, baby.
Anything's possible.
That's right. That's right. I look at it like the Fool, the initiator card. I don't think of it like, the Joker.
Well, I like that card. I like that card a lot. It's a leap of faith.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Mary, did you say we're coming up on 6 years? Is that what you said?
Yeah, this summer.
You got to be kidding me.
Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
Who's loyal in your life? Who is it that's loyal in our life? Anything's possible.
Well, I don't need your loyalty, Mary. I need your friendship, and I love you.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, right there. Same. Oh, no. It's something. What I mean is, if something committed, I should say.
There you go. Committed is far better for me.
Yeah. Me too. It's an upgrade. If something holds value in your life, you will make time for it. You will have respect for it, and you will totally bear witness to, although you're giving, you're also being gifted to as well. The things in our life, there's lots of things that people can get fearful of or complain about, but it's those people and those teachings and those moments and that statement and maybe that color or that insect, the yellow bumblebee that stung you. So it's like, pay attention to me. Aries are stingers and red ants and things that get our attention, that can. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, most vipers are Scorpio, but not the copperhead. So this is, and April is one of their months. So this is the time. This is the time to acknowledge those people, those places, those instances, and those memories that really have stood the test of time to comfort us, not the things,
just the things, not just the things we grieve or we miss.
Well,
just a fulfillment cycle.
If I can, if I would like to do this one day, I'd like to have a get together one day, and I'm putting that out there, and I need everybody else to put that out there. Make it happen, I'd like to see people and shake their hands and give some hugs. I'd like to meet this Mary Ducina woman that I've only talked to on the internet for 6 years and give her the biggest and most loving hug she's ever had in her entire life. That's what I want. So
we would love to do an in-person thing for all of you guys. Got to make it easy on us because, we just got to make it easy on us.
Yeah, it has to work.
Just got to make it easy. Yeah.
Right. It has to work for sure. But I love you, Mary. And I'll see you again next month. We'll see you guys again next month. Before we get out of here, if you could just narrow down the message, what is it in a few sentences?
Get
Mary?
involved. Get involved. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. Do the work. Let it be.
There it is, y'all. Get involved. Do the work. And make sure that you get a Mary from a reading. Get a reading from Mary.
That's all right. Either one's appreciated, truly.
MaryDucina.com. MaryDusina.com. Hit us up on social media. Give her a follow. All that stuff. Listen to the replay a few times, too. I do. Just for comfort sometimes. I'm weird like that. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Night-night.
Good night.
All right, so